All right. So, John 3, verse 16, it says that God so loved the world that whosoever believes in the Son should not perish but have everlasting life. Okay, so Christians stop there. They just say, yep, I believe in Jesus. I'm not going to perish. I'm going to have everlasting life. Okay, but you got to actually keep reading. Okay, because then it goes on to explain that those that believe there is no condemnation, but those that are condemned already because they don't believe. And this is the condemnation, right? So he's saying that if you don't believe, you're already condemned, and this is the condemnation. So basically, think of it like this. It's like he's saying, this is how you know if you believe or not. Okay? That light is coming to the world, but those who have these evil works of darkness don't want to walk in the light, because if they do, their evil deeds will be exposed and reproved. But they don't want that because they love the darkness more than the light. Okay? So, all the way through prophecy, Yeshua is referred to as the light. He was the one who was going to bring light to the Gentiles, light to dark sayings. You know, all these different things about the light. Even in the creation, day one, the light that was created is Yeshua. The sun, the S-U-N in the sky wasn't created until day 4, I think. So the light is Yeshua, right? So, in order to believe in him, you have to learn what the prophets said about him. You know, like Yeshua even said it himself. How can you believe in me if you don't even believe what Moses said about me? The only way you can believe in the Messiah is if you can go and look in prophecy and see what the prophets said about the Messiah, and then say, yep, he fulfilled those prophecies. I believe that he is the Messiah. See, belief is not superstition. You don't just have it's not just like, ooh, yeah, you get this funny feeling, he must be the Messiah. You know that he fulfilled the prophecies. Okay? So, in 1 John 2, it's talking about how he that says that he loves his brother, he that says that he walks in the light but hates his brother is actually just a liar, and he's walking in darkness and he's stumbling all over the place, right? So that gives you a clue of what it means to walk in the light. He that says he walks in the light but hates his brother is actually in darkness. Okay? So the light has something to do with loving your brother. Okay? And yes, of course it does. Because when you go and learn the prophecies of the Messiah, that he was going to magnify the law and make it honorable, one of the commandments that he elevated out of the law, one of the honorable commandments of the law, was loving your neighbor as yourself. And when you go to Leviticus 19, verses 15 through to 18, and you read what it means to love your neighbor as yourself, it says, don't hate your brother in your heart, rebuke him. When you see him sin, rebuke him. And if you don't do that, it's because you hate him. And then when the Messiah was actually verbally showing us how the law had been magnified, and he's saying, yeah, you've heard it of old, don't murder, but I say if you even hate your brother, you've already killed him. Okay? So he is saying that hating your brother, like not rebuking him, is the equivalent of murdering him. Because you're suffering the consequences of his sin upon him. You're supposed to rebuke him so he has the opportunity to repent and be obedient to God. God gives us conviction to love him by keeping his commandments. Then we walk in that, because he's blessed us with that light, he's opened our eyes to sin, and we get the opportunity to repent and be obedient to God, which, I mean, come on, surely that's what you people want to do, right? You want to be obedient to God, don't you? Okay, so he gives you the spirit of grace, which is conviction, to obey him. Titus 2 tells you this. Just go read Paul's letters about grace. Like, it's clearly conviction. How do you do despite to the spirit of unmerited favor? You don't. You do despite to the spirit of conviction, because you don't listen to it, searing your conscience with a hot iron. Anyway, he gives us this conviction in our hearts. He opens our eyes. He enlightens our eyes to sin. And then we have the opportunity to repent. And so the way that we then pass that love on is by giving it to our neighbor. You speak with salt, with conviction, so that they have the opportunity to repent as well. Okay? If you don't understand this, and if you don't do this, you don't really know the Messiah. You don't understand why he came. Which is then why 1 John 2 says that he that says he loves his brother, or he that says he walks in the light but hates his brother, is actually in darkness and stumbles. Okay? The stumbling is not, it doesn't mean like, that like you struggle with sin. Like, the stumbling is referring to a biblical idiom. It's the stone of stumbling and the rock of offense. And guess what that is? It's Yeshua. He is the stone of stumbling and the rock of offense. Okay? So all of these people who say that they walk in the light but hate their brother are actually stumbling. They're stumbling over the stumbling stone, the rock of offense. Isaiah 8 says that Yeshua will be a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel. So all you Christians, it's not just the Jews who reject the Messiah. They're not the only ones. You've stumbled at him as well, because you don't understand the refreshing of the covenant. You don't understand that he came to magnify the law and make it honorable. You don't know who the Messiah is. You've just got this vain imagination and a vain superstition of this lawless one who just ended all of the law and just said, don't worry about obedience to God anymore. That's not the Messiah. Okay? 1 John 2 actually goes into more detail, and it says that he that walks in the light and loves his brother, there is no occasion of stumbling in him. Okay? So again, that means these people who are walking in the light is fulfilling the royal law. If you're walking in the light, you're fulfilling the royal law. There's no occasion of stumbling in you. So in 1 Peter 2, it's explaining that, to the people who are obedient in the word, they don't stumble at the stumbling stone. Yeshua is a sanctuary for them. He's a blessing and a joy to those people. But to those who are disobedient in the word, they stumble at the stumbling stone. Because they don't understand the refreshing, they don't understand to fulfill the royal law, and so they don't even know the gospel. And yet they run their mouths about this perverted gospel. And so now Paul says in Galatians 4 that when you do that, you're accursed, because you're bringing another doctrine and another gospel. There's one gospel. And if you don't nail that gospel, and yet you presumptuously run your mouth, you're accursed. And you're walking in darkness. And you're already condemned. You see, it's a very, very scary, sequence of events. You don't believe in the Son, so you don't do what he said. You don't fulfill the royal law. You don't, because like loving your neighbor as yourself was a commandment. It was a very specific commandment. Same with loving God. He was commanding you to love God. And if you don't do those two magnified commandments, you're not even listening to the Son.